Self-identity is ever evolving. We're always changing. We're always figuring something out in life and then moving along with it, and thus our identities follow suit, right? So the things that we learn in life, the things that we figure out, mean that our identities shift. Now, our identities can only shift if we allow change to come to us and happen in our lives. And in my last video, I spoke about manifestation and why maybe it's not working for you, why you're not achieving what you want. Maybe simply because you're thinking manifestation is just wishing for something. I mean, if you want to see it, it was the last video on my channel. But this I was going to say this year, this time, this video, I'm going to talk about if your identity, no, I'm going to talk about why nothing changes if your identity never changes. And it kind of ties in to manifestation, right? Because basically, if you are not allowing yourself to be in situations that are good for you, that are, productive, that are going to take you to where you want to be, then your identity is never going to shift. And, we always, like I said, our identities are ever evolving. We're always changing. Not because, we think it's the best for that situation, or it shouldn't be to change our identities to be around certain people so that they can see us in a different light. That's not how it should be at all. It should be that you're changing your identity based on the things that you like now, the things that you enjoy now, the way that you want to be seen now, because we're always changing our idea of self. We're always thinking, I want to be this, I want to be that. And then, we try it and we're like, oh, actually, not for me. For example, I don't know the time frame of it, but a few years back, I was very, very, very much like the pushover. Like, you could come to me, you could make me believe anything. First of all, I was gullible as all hell. You could make me believe anything, and I would believe it. You would tell me something, and I would be like, oh, okay, yeah. You could make me feel about this small from just telling me that you feel a certain way about me. Um, Instantly my mood would be changed, right? Like, I was that girl. I was the girl that was very insecure. I needed to know that I was okay for everyone. Like, I needed to know that I was everyone's cup of tea. And you know what? That became my identity because of the situation that I put myself in every single time, day in, day out, in my normal life, in my normal everyday life, in my work life. I would put myself in that situation. But it's like a catch 22, right? It's very much catch 22, because if you are feeling that way because of the situation you're putting yourself in, you're also never gonna feel differently if you don't put yourself in different situations. And it's a weird one. So, how I changed that was one day I was like, no, I am so sick of being the girl that everyone knows is a pushover, that everyone knows they can go to, and she's gonna listen. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna be that little, I'm gonna lend you my ear. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna give you all the advice under the sun. I'm gonna try and help you. And then at some point, you're gonna throw it back in my face, or you're gonna take what I'm telling you without grace, and you don't even really care, and then drop me. You're gonna drop me, and ow, hair in my eye. And as soon as you've dropped me, I'm then left feeling awful because, again, anxious attachment. Raise your hand if you have it or had it. I needed that validation from people. I needed to know that I was valuable to people, that people valued me. And do you know what? They didn't. They didn't value me. I know. Shock. It's not a shock. People are not going to value you if you if you can't value yourself. And so if you are not going to change your situation, your identity is never going to shift. And if you are not going to shift your identity, your situation isn't going to shift. And so let me tell you, if you feel like you're in this situation now, currently, I'm going to give you the biggest thing that really helps to think about when you think, I really couldn't be confident, or I really couldn't be that person. I don't know how to shift my identity to what I want it to be. Yes, you do. You do. You're just scared. You're scared of being seen. You're scared of being perceived. You're scared that someone's going to judge you for that. You're scared because it's a very scary thing to do. You know, you're literally letting yourself out of this box that you've confined yourself in for years. And that's a scary thing because you've been so protected by the box, right? This box you've created for yourself is literally like your little safe haven. Okay, people push you around. Okay, people think you're an idiot. Okay, people think, you're the girl or the guy to steamroll over, right? And you won't say a word about it because that's just who you are. And that feels safe because you know that everybody's reactions to you, they're predictable. They're predictable and they're safe. Predictability feels safe because we just know how it's going to go down. We know how they're going to react. So we know how we're going to feel. And when you have had like anxious attachment and you've had all these attachment issues in the past and things like this and confidence issues, predictability is where you need to be in order for your nervous system to feel like it's not under attack. But your nervous system needs to feel under attack in order for you to change. So, one of the really, really big things that really helped me, and it's actually really, really fun, and sometimes I do it now just because I can, just because it's really fun. And I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy a little bit of acting, I love a bit of acting. Give me an acting gig and I'll do it. But the thing that I'm going to tell you to do is, and I feel like it's quite a common one, like this gets spoken about a lot, but I love this. The idea of it is just so fun. The next time you are in a situation and there is an identity that you want to portray, but you're like, I can't do that. Oh my gosh, imposter syndrome. I can't do it. That's not me. How do I do that? Literally take any person in your life that you idolize, that has the mannerisms that you want, that has the intelligence levels that you want, that has the life that you want. How are they living their life? It could be a real person in your life, it could be a celebrity, it doesn't matter. It could be anyone. It could be someone who you think, how do I have the audacity to think I'm like this person? But just think it, okay? No one else has to know. You don't have to go parading around telling everyone I'm trying to be like Angelina Jolie. I don't know. But just think of that person in your head, and the next interaction that you have with someone, I want you to think, what would she do? Or he do? What would she do? Maybe it's a character that an actor or an actress plays, right? What would they do? Would they take that abuse? Would they take somebody talking down on them? Would they? Probably not, because, people that we idolize tend to be very, very confident and very articulate and not disrespected by people, because that is what we desire as human beings, right? But as I said, we are creatures of habits, and not all habits that we get into are good. So, for example, staying in a habit, in a habitual cycle of being spoken down on, that's my safe place. I'm going to stay there forever. But I also do want to change my identity because I'm sick of having this identity. You need to get out of it. And that is a little fun thing that you can do. I love that idea. I just think it's really fun, and it doesn't feel very daunting because I'm not telling you to go away and figure out who you are and figure out who you want to be. I'm saying literally pick a character from a movie, pick somebody in your everyday life, pick somebody that maybe you see in passing all the time and they just embody what you want to be. And then in changing your identity in that fun little way, you'll start to realize, oh damn, I can do this. Like, I'm not stuck in my identity. That's crazy. But until you see the shift, you're never actually going to really believe it. And so I really want you to try that because, again, super fun. Super fun for those of us who love the acting. It's really, really fun. Um, but the bottom line is that if you are not changing your situations and where you are, and it's the situations are keeping you down, your identity is always going to be bottom tier. And that's not me being harsh. I'm not saying that to be awful, but I'm saying that because it's just true. Identities are supposed to evolve, they're supposed to shift. If they don't shift, then we never, now, how I am now in my life, I'm realizing that when I was younger, the things that older people would say to me, and the kind of stuff where you're like, oh, roll your eyes, oh, you'll miss this when you're older. No, I won't miss this when I'm older. Ugh. Now I'm like understanding it, but that's because my identity has shifted and it's evolved, and that's completely normal. And not only is it normal, but like it needs to be encouraged more. We shouldn't all just stay in one place and stay static and stuck. We need to shift our identities. But again, catch 22, if you are not shifting the situation that you're in and you're not changing the way that you navigate a situation, your identity is always going to stay the same. So I need you to really get into your, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know. Um, apparently this helps me to think. I need you to get into your acting era. I do. And I know I've heard people say, oh, acting, like faking it till you make it, acting a certain way to be able to become a certain way is a really bad way to do it. I disagree, because that is how I literally got to where I am. I just pretended that I had it all figured out, that I knew what I was doing. I pretended, that I was this person that I wanted to become, and then I just naturally shifted into it. And I guess it doesn't work for everyone, but it worked for me. Maybe I just deluded myself, but I do also think a little bit of delusion is good. I think if you can be a little bit delusional and it can take you to greatness, or like it can elevate you, why not? Why not just be delusional? I mean, it may not work for you, but it may. Just give it a try. I really need to go to bed. This has been a very quick video. It's super duper late and very strange noises going on in this house. I'm gonna go to bed. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm like really paranoid. It's super dark in here. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you well on your little acting venture. I'll see you in my next one, where hopefully I'm not getting like freaked out and it's all spooky. Bye.